Hello, welcome to this week's Express class. We're going to focus this week on the glutes. We're going to focus a lot of the class towards them today. A few bridges, a few variations, and try to bring the hip flexors into a little bit more. So we're going to come away from the core. We did a tough class last week. We're going to work on the hips. We're going to bring a little bit of teaser 3 in, the exercise that is this week's technique tutorial. So we'll build that into the class just a little bit as well. We're going to focus mostly on the hips. So to get started, we'll come through our warm-up. So onto the hands and knees. We're going to look at the hip rotation. We're going to pick the left foot up, twist it out to the side, have a look at the toes, back in, right foot up and out to the side, and in, left foot up and out to the side, back in, right foot up and out, left foot up and out, and last one, right foot up and out, and back in. We're going to go for a slight difference this week. We're going to bring the left leg back behind the body, and what I want you to do is just draw big wide circles, but the main focus for this week is that left hip. It shouldn't move at all. We're going to keep it as still as we can. Bring that leg out as wide as you can to the side. And imagine you've got a tennis ball on your back and you don't want to let it roll off. So you're keeping the back and the pelvis as still as you can. And then change directions. Going the opposite way. If you want, bring the right hand onto the left hip and make sure that the bony point of the front doesn't move. And bring that left leg all the way out to the side. As far as you can, let the toes just lightly drag across the floor as well as you come around, and nice and high circles. Be more ovals than circles. And then we'll switch sides. Bring the right leg back, left hand onto the right hip if you want, and nice circles. So again, start by keeping the pelvis as still as you can, and small circles, and then gradually make those circles bigger and wider. Really focusing on bringing that right leg all the way out to the side. Good, and then up nice and high, and keep the back as still as you can. Remember that tennis ball that's on your back, though we don't want to let it roll off. And come back around the opposite direction, keeping the pelvis as still as you can. Engage the core, so squeezing the abs, and then bring the legs down onto the mat. We'll turn over onto our backs, rest the head onto the block. Knees bent, feet onto the mat, imprint the spine and roll the hips back. Exaggerating that imprint and then roll the hips back down. Roll the hips back, lift the hips up, bring the hips back down and relax. So keep the rib cage down in nice and tight. We want to get the glutes working. So it's a little bit more of an activation exercise. It shouldn't be difficult, but we're focusing on technique as much as we can. Keeping the ribs down. Roll back down, 2 more, and down, and then one last one. Roll the hips back, lift the hips up nice and high, and then bring the hips back down onto the mat. We're going to come to one leg next. This time we're going to straighten the right leg out in front, thighs stay in line with each other, hands by the side, imprint and lift, and lower. Keep that rib cage down, 2, and lower. 3 and lower. Keep squeezing the upper abs. Keep the rib cage down and in. Don't let it flare. 5. Keep the knees in line with each other. 6, 7, 8. 2 more. 9 and one last one. 10. And then back down and switch legs. Straighten the left leg, imprint and lift and lower, and look at that left foot. Make sure it doesn't move. The foot stays in the same place the whole time, even though the hips are lifting and lowering back down. That left knee doesn't move either. Good. Rib cage is down. 5, halfway there. 6, 7, squeeze the abs nice and tight. 8, 9, and one last one, 10, and then lower back down. We're going to hold ourselves up in that bridge position in the single leg. We're going to work the hip flexors a little bit now. So when the knee is extended, we're working the iliopsoas deep inside the abdomen to bring the leg up and down. So we're going to come through a few pulses with that. So head resting on the block, hands by the side, straighten the right leg, imprint the spine, squeeze the abs, rib cage comes down, shoulders are relaxed, lift the hips up nice and high, and 10 pulses with the right leg. 1, 2, 3, keep pushing that left hip up. 4, 5, digging the left heel into the mat. 6, 7, 8, as you drop the leg, keep the imprint. 9, down at the back arch. 10, bring the back down onto the mat and switch legs. Right foot is on the mat, straighten the left leg, imprint the spine, ribs come down, lift the hips, and 10 pulses. 1, 2, keep squeezing the lower abs. 3, 4, as you bring that leg down, make sure the back doesn't arch. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bend the left knee and bring the hips down. We're going to go for the same, legs up nice and, or hips up nice and high. We're going to straighten the right leg, but this time we're going to bring the leg out to the side and back in. So we're going to do something called abduction. Bring the leg out. So imprint the spine again, lift the hips up, straighten the right leg. I'm going to bring the right leg out and back in. 1, 2, 3. This time we're getting an isometric contraction of the iliopsoas. So the muscle doesn't change length, we're changing its position as you bring the leg out and back in. 8, hips nice and high. 9, one last one. 10, bend the knees and hips down. So muscles are only strong in one position, you train them that way. When you bring them out to different positions, bring the leg out to different positions in the air, the muscles have to work differently. So we're training the muscle through those different areas. Imprint the spine, lift the hips again, straighten the left leg, push the hips up nice and high, slide the left leg out, back in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bend the left knee and then roll the hips back down. Straighten the legs down onto the mat. I'm going to come in through some roll-ups. So hands back behind the head, arms forward, chin to the chest, up nice and tall, chest forward at the end. And control back down onto the mat. 1, 2, 3, good. 2 more reaching forward. 4, and back down. 5, chest up nice and tall, and controlled, rolling back down. The next 5, we're going to reach to the ceiling. 6, 7, 8, 9, chest up nice and tall. 1 last one, arms forward, reaching the fingers up, drop the shoulders away from the ears, and controlled down onto the mat. Keep the legs straight out. We're going to bring the hands to the side of the head. I'm going to roll the chin to the chest. And up nice and tall. Keep the elbows pointing out to the side as you roll back down. 1, we're going to go for 3. 2, chest up and control down. 1 last one, chin to the chest, rolling up. Push the chest forward at the end, shoulders are dropped back. Point the elbows out and controlled all the way back down onto the mat. And then rest down. Then we're going to come through our teasers. So we're going to do 5 of each. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to come through our teaser prep. So I'm going to imprint the spine, bring the legs to tabletop, hands behind the head, arms forward, chin to the chest, rolling onto the back of the hips, and then back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and back down. Control onto the mat. Bring the legs down for a second. We're going to come to teaser 1 next, which is where we have the legs straight to the ceiling and we roll back up into boat pose with the legs straight. We're going to progress from the prep to teaser 3, which is the technique tutorial for this week. If you find any one of these difficult, just hold at the level below. and stick with those ones. And you can practice this a little bit more as you go through. Imprint the spine again. Bring the hands back behind the head. Legs to tabletop, straighten the legs. 5 more. Rolling to both poses, legs straight. And control back down. Remember at the end, stick those ribs forward. 2. And back down. 3. And down. 4. Push the ribs forward. And down. Last one. 5. Control down onto the mat. Bend the knees and bring the feet down. Next one, teaser 2. So we hold ourselves in both poses. And we're going to lift and lower the legs 5 times. So, imprint the spine again. Hands back behind the head. Legs to tabletop. Straighten the legs. Roll up into both poses, legs extended. Lower the heels and lift. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep pushing those ribs forward, shoulders relaxed. 5. Keep the legs straight. Roll back down. Bend the knees and come down onto the mat. So, teaser 3, if you haven't watched the tutorial, I'll run through it. What we do is we lie flat down on the mat, we bring the arms and legs up at the same time into dog pose. So, legs straight down, I'll show you one demonstration and then we'll go through all 5. Imprint the spine as best you can, hands back behind the head, arms forward, chin to the chest, and lift the chest and the legs at the same time, and back down onto the mat. So we'll run through our 5 now. Imprint, tuck the chin in, arms forward, and roll up. 1. And back down, lowering the arms and legs at the same time. 2. And back down. If your hamstrings are loose in the mind, you'll be able to bring the legs higher. 3. Chest forward at the end. Back down. 4. And lower back down. One last one. 5. And then come back down onto the mat and rest down. We're going to come onto our side next and we're going to run through a little bit more for the hips. So we're going to keep the legs straight, elbow below the shoulder, slightly towards the hips, pinch the shoulder blades back, lift the ribs up, lift the hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest down. Next we're going to lift the hips up, hold that side plank position, and we're going to draw circles. We're going to go for 10 small circles going clockwise. So lift the hips, lift the top leg parallel to the floor, 10 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rest leg and rest the hips down. Next one, we're going to go for 10 big circles. Pinch the shoulders together again, lift the ribs up, lift the hips. We're going to go the opposite direction, forward, up, back and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And rest the hips down. Last one we're going to do on our side. Lift the leg up, leg parallel to the floor. We're going to cycle forward for 10. Again, pinch the shoulder blades together, lift the hips, lift the top leg, and cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rest the legs, rest the hips down, and now we'll switch sides. So again, onto our other side. Elbow below the shoulder, slightly closer to the hips. Top hand on the hip if you want. Lift the hips for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest down. Good, have a little rest for a second. Next one, we're going to do small circles. Pinch the shoulder blades, lift the ribs up, lift the hips, top leg in line with the floor. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Rest the legs, rest the hips back down. Big circles, forward, up, back and down, 10 and then, little rest, and then cycling forward and we're done. Pinch the shoulder blades, lift the ribs, lift the hips, and big circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rest the legs, rest the hips down, and then last ones, we're nearly there. Lift the hips nice and high, top leg up, parallel to the floor, and 10 cycling forward. Pinch the shoulders, lift the ribs, lift the hips, top leg, and cycling. 1, 2, 3, 4, make sure that the knee doesn't point down. 6, 7, 8, 9, keep the hips up. 10, rest the leg, rest the hips, and then rest down. That's the express class for this week. All done, quite hip focused, a little bit tough in the abs, did kind of the harder exercises for that. I hope you enjoyed this class and see you again next week. Bye bye.